Shalom Yasharala Shalom. Brakat Yahawah, Brakat Yahawashi. Brakat Yahawah, Brakat Yahawashi. Brakat Yahawah, Brakat Yahawashi. Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone to teach and rule who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth. I risk it own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. To the Aqua to listen, learn, and shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin Camp here in Toronto with another lesson. We'll get right into it. Right? Touch a couple scriptures. You know what I mean? But this place ain't gonna change. You know, America the Great, Babylon the Great, the daughter of the Chaldees, aka Nineveh, aka Assyria, aka Egypt, aka Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? America, it's not gonna change. San Francisco Giants manager Gabe Kapler, no more national anthem for me until our country changes, right? It's not going to change. Right? It's going to continue to wax worse and worse. San Francisco Giants manager Gabe Kapler is very upset about the direction of our country after the latest mass shooting, and now he's protesting the national anthem. Gabe says he's breaking from baseball tradition and plans to no longer join players and coaches on the field before games for the playing of the national anthem. Here was a tweet: I don't plan on coming out for the anthem going forward until I feel better about the direction of our country, quote unquote. The Giants manager told reporters Friday in Cincinnati before his club played the Reds, I don't plan on coming out for the anthem going forward until I feel better about the direction of our country. In a post on his personal blog earlier Friday, Gabe reflected on the Uvalde school shooting, and the response across the sporting world. Gabe wrote, the day 19 children and 2 teachers were murdered, we held a moment of silence at sporting events around the country. Then we played the national anthem and we went on with our lives. All too familiar, and right, you know, it was all northern tribes too, right? These children here in northern kingdom, right? Predominantly Issachar. The all too familiar response is not sitting well with GK, who adds, we didn't stop to reflect on whether we were actually free and brave after this horrific event. We just stood at attention. Gabe says his father taught him a lesson early on in life, and he's applying it to his anthem protest. When I was the same age as the children in Uvalde, my father taught me to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance when I believed my country was representing its people well, or to protest and stay seated when it wasn't. Salak. Kapler writes, I don't believe it is representing us well right now. Gabe says he tried to protest the anthem earlier this week, but it didn't materialize. My brain had dropped to a knee. My body didn't listen, he wrote. I wanted to walk back inside. Instead, I froze. I felt like a coward. I didn't want to call attention to myself. I didn't want to take away from the victims or their families. There was a baseball game, a rock band, the lights, the pageantry. I knew that thousands of people were using this game to escape the horrors of the world for just a little bit. I knew that thousands more would understand the gesture and would take it as an offense to the military, to veterans, to themselves. Gabe says after a few days of reflection, he decided on his anthem protest. Bottom line for Kapler, I'm not okay with the state of this country. The home of the brave should encourage us. Right, and this is just a start. This is just the beginning, man. You know what I mean? Right? Babylon the Great, America the Great is not going to get better. Will not be healed. Roughly paraphrasing, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 9 or 10. Right? Amos 3, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city? Right. trumpet, in the ancient world, trumpets were warning mechanisms, warning of incoming doom, incoming danger, warning of an invasion. It was an alarm system, right? And the people not be afraid. Right? People in the ancient world, people heard the trumpet and got shook, frightened. Shall there be evil in a city? Right, evil in a city. Evil meaning bad times. And the Lord, all caps, Yahawah, hath not done it. Right, so these things that are happening is the doing of the Lord. Plain and simple, plain as day. Right, but people of the world, 2/3 of the people, these heathen nations, they're not going to understand that. Right? They're not going to understand that the Most High Yahawashi is dishing out judgment, man. 1 Samuel 2, verse 6. The Lord, all caps, Yahawah, killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up, right? Once again, the Most High Yahawashi is the author of these things. Judgments. Right? And we're going to see America the Great become more and more divided. Right? Right, as we get further in this thing, we're gonna see more and more division, man. You know what I mean? And you know, this baseball coach, protesting, right? But right now, if you look in the news streams, right now you got the NRA doing their thing, saying their piece, and you got people protesting the NRA, right? Mark 3, verse 23, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, right? And this is red letter. Our Lord said this. How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand, right? America the Great, Babylon the Great, right? Rome 2.0, the beast, NATO and the EU, right? All divided. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Right? We had Trump on the record this morning, right? If I'm not mistaken, backing the NRA. Right? Them Edomites down there in the south. They're not having that. Taking their fire sticks. They're not on board with that, man. Right? Matthew 24. Right? And this thing's wide open. It's going to continue to get worse. Right? This guy's protest is that he hopes for Slovakia, that he hopes for America the Great, to get better. It's not happening. Matthew 24, verse 12, and it reads, and because iniquity shall abound, iniquity, what's iniquity? Sin upon sin. Abound meaning to increase. The love of many shall wax cold, right? And that's what's going on out here, man. There's spirits of vengeance out here. Spirits created for vengeance. Great judgments is going forth in America the Great, Babylon the Great. Right? Mark 13, verse 8. Red letter. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows, right? And we are in the time of the beginning of sorrows, man. For something to begin means there's an end. We're nowhere near the end or the middle. 2 Ezra 15, verse 14, it reads, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, right? Destruction. Woe means destruction. To the world and them that dwell therein, right? Right? Destruction to the world and them that dwell therein, right? Nothing but destruction's coming, man. All hell gonna break loose. It's gonna get worse. We are in the beginning of sorrows. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. What does it mean by draweth nigh? It's getting closer. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, right? How can a kingdom stand if it be divided? Egyptian versus Egyptian, right? That's the spirit. That's the vibration that's about to engulf America the Great. America the Great, Babylon the Great is about to be drunk with people, with kingdom against kingdom, brother against brother, right? And swords in their hands, right? They're going to be armed, right? And what is a sword? A killing instrument. What is today's sword? The modern day gun, right? So this coach, chances are the what out of one Rawchaa, chances are he never joins his team for another national anthem, man. Shalom.